All right, so this is an About CMDess for 2023, and I am a music maker, music creator, multi-genre, and multi-format. I have been working with music for over 20 years, and I come from a musical family, and I was able to achieve first success as a composer at 14. I moved to California at exactly age 21 and got involved with production music there, and basically have sustained working around production music and creating individual songs as well. So here we have the latest and greatest information, and I'll try to encapsulate it all, which is basically, all quickly, which is that I have several hundred independently released materials, and this is basically the CMDess publishing discography right here. Essentially this plus maybe some very new tracks. I created an EPK several years ago where it can describe a brief overview of what things I've been involved with. I created the EPK and I create all of the graphics in my independently released material. So I create these graphics, whereas other releases have been produced and published, and the graphics created by the respective companies that I work with. So I do sound design, and I do many genres of music, and I do singer-songwriter, and I also sing over the material, because that was one of my aspirations, was to develop this quality and develop these multiple aspects, which are, very different worlds. It's very different to be a singer than to be a producer, than to be a person who plays in the band, et cetera, et cetera. And so for me, it was important to learn the art of each of those things, to have an overall mastery of the production process. So that's why I did the and so also when I was in California, I wanted to develop a way of singing uniquely, so that I could do many kinds and many genres, sound like many people, et cetera, et cetera. And when I was very young, I wanted to be an actor, so doing dialects and things like that came into my favor later on in life. When I got involved with music making. That's why you might hear me do a hard metal piece, or you might hear me do a singer-songwriter piece, and it may or may not sound like the same person. If there's a person on the radio, I may be able to mimic some of their qualities. This kind of thing was the mindset. So my main aspiration is, one, to continue to develop my new material with cutting-edge ideas, and also to do some bootstrapping commercial productions for the people I work with in California, for my own independent releases, and new clients. So CMDess has been involved with music over 20 years. So here's my main IMDb page. You have to look it up like this. And if you see CMDess with the C capitalized and all lowercase letters on streaming platforms, that is the incorrect way to punctuate my name, but unfortunately it is what it is, and I have many other things that I'm working on right now, and I don't have time to deal with correcting that. But anyway, so here's the list of the TV shows that have utilized music through production music. And I was lucky enough to get involved with production music from working with a person who worked with Seal and Trevor Horn and many of the top players in California. And out of respect, I'll hold off mentioning their name, but yes, they were very important in helping me develop, this ability to do these kinds of more timing-based music, where you would develop things that were oriented around motion picture. So I have some work in advertisements, and I have some work, most of my work that was done in California is on TV. So all of these shows may have tiny little pieces of my music utilized, where they use the collections. And so the collections are places like APM Music. So here, these are the collections where you can find my music that's been published by external publishers. So this is music that I do not have the control over. However, it's some cool stuff. Especially, I really loved my work with the Sonaton, and Sonaton can also be found in APM Music, because the APM is their U.S. distributor. And so one of my most popular pieces was called "Born Elite" from this APM selection. I have a lot of shows on Chopped through APM Music, or I have a lot of cues on Chopped. And so another cool release was Fearless Champions, which is mainly orchestral music. So to give you an idea, so like this would be an orchestral album. This would be an orchestral album. A lot of this stuff is hybrid with sound design. Some of it is tribal. Some of it is very harsh technological stuff. Some of it is emotional, like terminal keys. Then you have some sound design stuff like Thunder Drones. Thunder Drones was designed to work behind shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, or just shows where there's a kind of a mysterious quality. So that's where the sound design stuff comes in. I do also have another one called Monster Drone, no, Monster Percussion and Monster Thunder Drones or something to this effect. I don't see it here. I'll have to check into that. But anyways, so because that was a big one as well as in terms of sound design. Another company that I used to release my production music was BMG. I have maybe 100 tracks with them. That's funny. I have a song called Power Struggle. I guess I like this title because I have one called Power Struggle through BMG, but I also have just released a song called Power Struggle because that was used in a spot, and it was my own independent synchronization skills. And then I also have Sonic Librarian tracks with them, and so you can see some of the tracks I have there. A lot of this material that's used in the collections get used on similar shows like maybe UFC or American Ninja Warrior, etc., etc. And then I have lastly some Music Junkies work where this was more like world music and some technological music and some sound design oriented things. Some very nice pieces here. Unfortunately, they haven't done very much in the synchronization world. It's very competitive. But anyways, so this is about CMDess 2023. And this is kind of an overview of what's been going on lately. And also I've been working on developing X riffs and X chords. So that's one of the things I try to do is push the boundaries of music creation. I'm also well aware of all the technological higher end things that are happening right now in terms of AI, and I'm keeping an eye on that. But I would rather continue along my own pursuits of what I know about music because it is so very, very much that, and I would hate to waste the development of these kinds of things by skipping to the latest and greatest trend. Although I do keep an eye on all that stuff all the time because oftentimes, as a pop-oriented thinker, I would think to incorporate the technological trends of the era into the overarching piece that I'm working on, because to me it's more important to make the whole engine from various parts than it is to try to focus on one particular specialism. So that's about CMDess 2023, and hopefully I'll have some more stuff coming out pretty shortly. I'm very grateful for whatever I was able to achieve in the music industry. It's a very, very tricky industry, and it's just like they say, only it's more so. So we'll see how it goes from here on. But I'm very glad I have found this actual list here because this list really portrays the work that I've gone through to create independent releases. And the independent releases in the music business are very, very difficult to do because one, if you don't have the marketing of the people that are involved in networking, you're basically a tree falling in the woods. So that means every time I did all this, there was no, reciprocation from the industry. That means every single one of these pieces, I heard dead silence after the piece was finished. So that's kind of heartbreaking, but it's the kind of thing that musicians go through. It's like when you write a great song or a cool production or an underscore or something tricky, you don't get that sort of gratification from the audience, and you especially don't get it from the commercial side, who want you all to go to releasing collections. But again, for me, it's like creative control. It's trying to find the balance between creative control and developing, the music. So to me, number one is always developing music, and I could really care less about, how to make it happen. I care more about making the creative process occur. That's why slogan is music forward and also music creation. This logo was conceived when I was back in Florida, and essentially it's like an all-hearing ear. This is actually a treble clef, and this could kind of be a bass clef, but I like the whole look of the logo, and it just kind of all came to me all at once. So that's what this thing is right here. So if you see that logo, that's me, pretty much independently releasing material. And if you need to share a encapsulated, bit of information about CMDess, the way to go is to use the CMDess EPK, which is available and searchable. You just search CMDess EPK either on my YouTube or in Google, and that would pull up this, which is actually a few years old, but not much has changed, and I just continue my pursuits, and we shall see. So, bye-bye.